Welcome back. If you're thinking about skipping a flu shot this year, it could cost you in many ways. Karen Kafa shows us how the flu season comes with an actual price tag.
In addition to the sneezing, the coughing, the aches, and the misery, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the flu carries an economic toll for the nation every year. That includes $10.4 billion in direct medical expenses and $16.3 billion in lost earnings for sick employees. The flu can be particularly costly for households with young children who are most likely to become infected with the flu virus, the CDC says. They found that caregivers of children sick with the flu took on medical expenses between $300 and $4,000, depending upon the severity of the illness. For kids and adults, fighting fall and winter colds and flu can be made easier by putting certain items in the grocery cart. Yogurts, live cultures can help prevent colds. Mushrooms show promise in boosting immunity. Water and other fluids can help clean a cold out of your system. Hot peppers and spices can help clear sinuses. And honey can soothe an irritated throat. Flu season typically peaks between January and March, but the CDC warns the flu is unpredictable and timing varies every year. That's why they recommend getting a vaccine now in the fall. For Consumer Watch, I'm Karen Kafa.
So now is the time to get your flu shot and to encourage the people in your family to do the same. Anne-Marie Tiernan asks the doctor today about this year's vaccine. Ann?
Well, hey there, Scott. I'm joined today by Dr. Steve Samuels, who works at St. Francis on the south side, gives a lot of flu shots. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
All right, so let's talk about the vaccine this year and how it's different from last year and why there's concerns about compliance among healthcare professionals.
Last year's vaccine wasn't real effective. Unfortunately, each year they try to pick the most common flu viruses we're going to see, but it wasn't in the vaccine last year. So we only had about 60% efficacy. Usually we get 90 to 95%. We hope it'll be that way this year. We're hoping people won't come back, and not get their flu shots because they didn't get efficacy last year.
So tell us, what are the components of the flu shot this year?
This year it's a quadrivalent vaccine, so it has 4 flu viruses in it, 2 influenza A and 2 influenza B. They picked the ones that they think will be most likely to be seen this year, and those are in your vaccine. It's not live flu, it's an antigen. It's a piece of the virus, so you cannot get the flu from the flu shot.
And there seems to be a lot of misunderstanding about that very point because it used to be different, didn't it?
Absolutely. Years ago, it was live flu virus that you were given, and you actually could get a case of the flu from it occasionally. Now, that's simply not the case. You can get a little localized reaction, a little achy at the arm, sometimes even just a little body ache for 24 hours, but you cannot get the actual flu. And even that little body ache, it's well worth it to avoid the true flu later in the winter.
So let's talk about what the flu shot, what does it do? What does it protect against for you?
Well, it can completely prevent you from getting the flu. It can make the flu less miserable for you. You'll get a lighter case of the flu perhaps, and certainly it can help you from spreading flu to other people if you get it.
That's key.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk a little bit about how what shot you might get is different depending on your age, especially for people 65 and older.
Absolutely. For the pediatric population, there is Flu Mist. It's a nasal spray. It's expensive, and so sometimes we don't use it just because of the sheer cost. But anybody 6 months on needs to get the flu vaccine. It's a regular flu vaccine for the under 65. Over 65 now, there's a high dose. It has 4 times the amount of antigen in it, so we really get a good immune response. Some of the older people, their immune systems aren't quite as active, so we try to boost it up with that.
And for seniors as well, we really want to talk about the pneumonia shot.
Absolutely. While you're in, talk to your doctor, make sure your other vaccines are up to date. There is a new pneumonia vaccine called Prevnar. Even if you think you're up to date on your pneumonia vaccine, the CDC is now recommending you get this new pneumonia vaccine. Also, your Tdap, your tetanus and whooping cough vaccine, make sure that's up to date every 10 years on that.
And shingles?
Shingles vaccine as well, over the age of 60. It's another one to check on. Shingles can be anywhere from just a nuisance rash to a pretty serious illness, and so we have a vaccine to prevent that now. It's a one-time shot. Again, this is the time of the year to talk to your doctor about all those vaccines and make sure you're up to date.
All right, you've convinced me.
All right, let's get you up to date.
Let's just get this done. Have you had your shot yet, doctor?
I'm getting mine tonight or later on this afternoon in the office, so I'm complying as well too.
And all healthcare professionals have to get
They have to practice in the hospital. You have to have it available. So it's very simple. We just cleaned your arm up a little bit. We'll give you a quick little injection in the muscle. We pull it out, wipe off the blood, put a Band-Aid on you, and you're good to go.
All right.
I appreciate you doing that.
All right.
And everybody out there, make sure you get your flu shots. Compliance is not where it should be, and so it would be very helpful.
Right, less than 60% in some
nationwide.
parts.
Yeah.
All right.
Nationwide.
All right. Steve Samuels, doctor with St. Francis, joining us today. Ask the Doctor. Good tips. Get your flu shot. Back to you, Scott.